When it comes to schooling, a lot of students underestimate the relevance of cultivating a good record-keeping attitude. Some students believe that keeping of a school record is a sole responsibility of the school and its administration, while some other students frown at students who practice a good record-keeping attitude as being overboard or meticulous. Listen, it is no longer an hidden challenge that a lot of schools globally, Africa, and even some international schools are faced daily with the challenge of documentation and effectively profiling and keeping the students' record, thereby leaving a lot of students completely frustrated while in school and some even after graduation. So while we collectively and globally wait for the change to come in record keeping of students' record in the educational system, I want to employ the attention of all students still in school to wake up and embrace the attitude of keeping your personal records. Welcome on another moment on Career Safari, and we'll be looking at records keeping of your school records. So, is it a responsibility of the school? Well, school definitely ought to keep the student's record. But listen, for your personal sake, you also want to have a personal detailed record of every single activity that you went through while still in school. So as much you can have at least something to show for your time spent schooling. So basically, what are your school record? Your school record entails both official and unofficial details that pertains to you as a student. So official details include your admission document, your registration document, your school law, even your individual curriculum details, your health details. So all of these things, at some point in school, you're going to require to use them for something or the other. Or even if you don't find yourself having to submit any of this back to school, it is important for you to have it detailedly kept for your own good in case of anything that shows up while you're schooling. Now, what about the unofficial detail? Well, I don't joke with unofficial details. So they include photograph with your roommate, with some friends while in school. You see, you never know how life goes. When you have a record of these things, your classmate in school, who you think is a nobody today, tomorrow that same person might be the president of Nigeria or might be the president of the United States. And if you have a record of that, it becomes a prestige that once upon a time I was with this person and I spent good time with this person, and then it boils down to your relationship also. You also want to keep unofficial record like your lesson notes, your class curriculum, and your logbooks. So anything that you had to do in school that maybe you really didn't need to submit them to school for any official reason, but they were things that were part of your going out. Imagine if you were the best at games in school and you had record of those unofficial details well documented. You can actually use it as part of your biography, or you can actually use it as something that you can use to encourage others going through schooling in the future. So I tell you what, is there really an ideal record? Is there really a good way for you to, have your record sorted? Well, I don't really think that there is an ideal way. But yeah, here's it. When it comes to records keeping, an ideal school record should be complete. It must be concise. It should be flexible, very easy to assess. I mean, it should be easily accessible. And again, it must be relevant. Okay, so it's really not every single thing that you have to document. Again, it solely depends on you and what you want to keep for your reference. The photograph, your logbook, your school curriculum, They might be unofficial, but then it's up to you. You might want to have a good record of that. So, what are the importance of keeping your school records? It is very necessary that you keep your school record for accountability's sake. All right. So you want to show that, all right, I did this. So if anything happened to the school's record, and then you're back in school for one reason or the other to submit a document or to state if you actually passed the course or not. Well, I don't know how these things happen, but some schools have been found to miss students' record, including their personal curriculum record. So it's something that you don't want to play with. So if your school is the type that when they bring out the result, they have it pasted on the wall, just like in some schools in Africa, please do yourself a favor, have a note or have some document, or if possible, get that copy and go make a photocopy and place it back. I did not tell you to take it back home, all right? So you can have a copy for yourself just to keep in case anything happens, all right? You don't want to be frustrated, right? If you don't have an account of whatsoever you're talking about. Hence, you have to keep it. Apart from accountability, another importance of keeping your school record is for decision making. Decision making, planning. So say for example, you are doing a particular program and every time they bring out the results, let's say after a particular quiz or after a particular test or after a particular examination, and you have your personal record. So some school at next level, very modernized. They have a blackboard system where all the students have the record well placed and you can easily log into the blackboard and you can see all your records. Well, if that is your school, again, it's also important for you to copy out that detail and have it pasted in a personal file where you can sit down and do a critical analysis of how well you're doing in school to see if you have to improve on your grades or if there is some sort of modification you can do to your results to, make things better in the next semester. So this is really very important. All right. Now, you might ask yourself, at what stage do I start keeping my records? For me personally, when it comes to having my personal record, I can say that I started having the responsibility of keeping my school record after secondary school. Now, I had a very wonderful father who is so responsibility, has a very good filing system. He has every single thing right from the day you were born. He has your birth certificate well filed. He has your state of origin well filed. He has every single detail about you, your nursery school, or what some would call it kindergarten, your nursery school till your primary school, your admission detail, every single thing about the payment of your school fees, including some of the money that he gave you. He have them documented. So again, if you are such that you're watching me right now and let's say you are in primary school, all right? So we're talking about very young people now, all right? Just stay in primary school. Your parent might be responsible for keeping your school details, okay? So every parent have the right, the sole responsibility to have record about their child, all right? You can demand, you can request for the record about your child, okay? Sometimes they give them a result card, sometimes they have it in the system. Some parents even go about to request for the disciplinary record of their child, just for guidance and counseling. So it's a good thing. And I think that parents can continue to guide on this until the child is in the secondary school. So if the child is in the secondary school, again, it depends. If the child is in a boarding school or if that student is a day school student. So while in secondary school, I believe from mid-school, right? Let's say for those in Nigeria and in the UK where you have your your secondary school system, right? Now, if a child is in GS1 to GS3, you can actually help to, you know, manage and monitor the record of your child, filing it carefully for them. But I believe as soon as that student crosses to SS1, you are matured enough and ready to begin to keep your record. I'll call it the handover stage. So where the parents hand over all of the belonging of that child to the student in SS1, okay? There you can start to monitor that student as a parent and watch them keep your record up until they're done with your secondary school. So, but then if you are in boarding school and you don't get to see your parents until visiting days and all this stuff, it is a wake up for you. You need to be matured enough to take up the responsibility. As a matter of fact, the right stage for you to personally take responsibility of your record is from your secondary school. So while you are in secondary school, you have all the records well kept. It depends on you again, but you don't want to play with official records. So things about your admission, things about the payment of your fees, you want to keep them. A lot of students just neglect, and after paying school fees, they just believe that they've paid school fees, they can just trash up the receipt. I don't think that's a good attitude. Because if you were in some schools, especially some schools in Africa, then you have to pay for that school fees twice. You don't want to be paying for something that you have already paid for. So it's very important for you to relax and just try as much as you can to file every single detail of you in school. And then if you're into games, you want to file your pictures. Your picture of you playing in school. You want to file the good moments. And some people even go next or to even file the bad moment while in school. You know, those moments that people just pour you water in your birthday when you don't want them to pour you water. Or those days when you're almost done with your exam and then people are doing all sort of dramas around your life and you're just asking yourself, you want to keep those on official document as well. So the responsibility of you keeping your record is solely dependent on you, on your personal decision. So if you keep those records, you have already a biography of every single thing that you went through while in school. So I'm going to talk to you about something that many students neglect. How best to file your record while in school and after school. So when it comes to filing of your personal record, your personal school record, I see a lot of people making the mistake of every single document they have, they just go to laminate them. Lamination of documents used to be a traditional old-fashioned way of keeping documents. But over time, we have seen that when you laminate your document, you're actually destroying the document. So there are two basic ways you can actually keep your documents and keep them safe. You either keep your document manually using a filing transparent bag and keep them in a good filing cabinet under lock and key where you know and you're rest assured that this is your property and you know exactly where you kept them. Or you can actually keep your document in a soft copy form. So you can have them scanned and well filed in a computer, or you can have them kept in a private drive. Whichever way you want to store a soft document, it's up to you. But you can file them manually, or you can file them using a soft copy system. So, but please try as much as possible when you are keeping your document, do not laminate your document, because some people might think that you have a fake document. There's no way to verify the authenticity of that document. So at every point in time, if you are filing your document manually, try as much as possible to file them using a filing transparent bag, not lamination of documents. So Finally, when you store your documents, you are actually not being backward. You are actually preparing your destiny forward. So it is your sole responsibility to take charge of every single activity that you went through while in school, and not the responsibility of your school. Well, even if they have some sort of role to play in keeping your record, but I think for accountability's sake, please wake up and start now to keep every single detail. You never know, you might actually make money from keeping those details while in school. You never know. So please try as much as you can to do this. And if you've not been doing it, it's not too late for you. You can actually start up now. So please try as much as possible to share this video with somebody that this video can help. It might not really be helpful to you right now, but it might be helpful to someone going through schooling now to wake up, to begin to keep every single details about the school. So please know that it is very free for you to subscribe on this channel. Click the link below and try as much as you can to share this video. I love you. Thank you and bye.